Alicia was born on September the 8th, 1979 in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania.
And I love you so.
The doctor handed her to me. And I remember counting fingers and toes, making sure there were 10 of each.
She was a healthy baby when she was born until about 3 weeks of age.
We realized very early on that she had asthma. It was very frightening because, if she had an asthma attack, she could die.
It's scary when your child's gasping for breath and you're running into the emergency room for adrenaline shots.
Lots of doctors, lots of needles. It was a sad thing. It just broke your heart.
We lived in Doylestown, a middle-class suburb of Philadelphia, with Alicia and her brother and her dad and I.
Alicia, at a very early age, she wrapped me around the finger. She was Daddy's little girl.
Well, they were both very close to him. He was always very involved in their activities and their life. Her dad was very active in the VVA, the Veterans Group from Vietnam.
Just seeing my dad with all these guys that he was over there with, just calling each other brother, it was just cool.
They'd march in the parades, Memorial Day, and Thanksgiving they would get a dinner together and feed the homeless.
These people would come in off the street, and there they would be face to face. And she'd serve these people dinner, and she'd see the gratefulness in their eyes and give them a real respect for life and, what they had. The kids got a lot out of that.
Hi.
How you doing?
But she was always very active.
We got Alicia into soccer. We got her into gymnastics at the recommendation of a doctor, which they said would help develop her lungs, to help her fight off the asthma.
She did dance from an early age and vocal lessons.
She got into all the different choral groups in school, choirs and singing groups. Music is where she gravitated to.
My dad, as far back as I can remember, had a guitar and he used to sing songs all the time.
And I was into music, and she just got into music early with me. It was a natural thing for her. And she'd grab something and pretend it was like a microphone. And we would doo-wah together.
Just non-stop, just singing all the time. With the karaoke machine or in the car, driving, just always singing. It used to drive me crazy.
There was tension about the fact that I had to work on weekends and weren't able to do things together as a family.
A lot of households are like our household was, with the parents that are disagreeing over finances or the kids. We got to a point where we didn't talk unless we argued.
I mean, they were arguing all the time.
I don't think either one of us was the same person that we were in our 20s. We just grew apart.
That got hard, especially for the kids, because the tension in the house, you could cut it with a fork. It was not a good place to be. It wasn't a good place to grow up.
I never wanted to be a single parent. The kids were 9 and 11. The prospect of raising them alone wasn't something that I looked forward to. But you get to a point where you feel that it's better for everyone concerned if you just go your separate ways.
And that's why, finally, I guess, I decided to leave.
It was a very difficult day. I can still remember everybody sitting downstairs in the family room.
It was like, it's nothing that you've done. It's not your fault. It's just that me and your mom can't live together anymore.
I still remember them telling us, and we were just kind of in shock.
Kids just kind of looked at us with disbelief, and there's a lot of crying all around.
It was a tough time for everybody.
I really had no idea how deeply the divorce had affected her.
She had a harder time with it than I did. She kind of bottled it up.
I think music became for her a hiding place, and it was a place for her to get away from the arguing, to get away from the unhappy part of her life.
She wanted to take vocal lessons, and I think she was about 10 when I found a vocal coach. She studied with her for the better part of a year, and then they had a recital at Germantown Academy in Philadelphia.
She had a song she sang by Madonna called "Oh Father." 10 years old, on stage, about 1,500 people there.
She performed without the slightest bit of anxiety, just loved being in front of the audience.
She just blew them away, including me. I thought, boy, this kid has really got the stuff.
It was amazing to hear the voice come out of this little child.
Right then I knew she was going to be something. She was hot.
Wonderful country, but the man, he's burning it down, he's burning it down, yeah, 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 yeah.
I met Alicia when I was 12. She was always singing, always.
Singing in the hallways and singing in class, and teachers would be like, Alicia, be quiet.
And she'd say, but I'm practicing. I'm practicing. I'm going to be a star someday.
We'd always be like, Alicia, sing us a song, you know, we want to hear something.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Alicia loved Four Non Blondes. She knew every song and would sing it everywhere, anytime.
She wanted to be Linda Perry.
She was singing the solo in the school recitals, always being singled out for an extra part.
In 9th grade, we had a concert coming up, and somebody had to sing the solo for A Bridge Over Troubled Water. And a lot of people tried out for it, and she got it.
It blew your breath away.
The power that came out of her voice, you'd look around and people would just be in shock.
All their jaws on their feet, like.
When you're in 9th grade and you're going to sing in a recital, you're probably expected to wear a nice dress with little patent leather shoes.
She had these big ass kicker boots on. That was her attitude. Like, you know, yeah, I can look pretty, but I still got my ass kicking boots on.
Alicia has always had an attitude.
Oh, gosh. Always.
I didn't ever want to piss her off because, you know, she kicked my ass or whatever.
I truly don't remember her ever taking shit from anybody.
I'm Alicia. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's it.
This is who I am, and screw you if you don't like it.
The problems began.
There was a 3 or 4 year bleak period in our lives.
Her and her mom would fight all the time. They loved each other to death, but they just could not get along.
We fought about school, we fought about clothes, we fought about everything.
She used to get in trouble a lot at school.
No teacher liked her whatsoever.
She wasn't concerned with tomorrow's math test. She was more concerned with how's she going to, you know, make it big, how's she going to get discovered.
And she'd just make up a rhyme. Be like, I'm going to use that someday. You know, I want to use that, and she'd write it down.
Her initial writings were always very introspective. Some of it was very black and very deep and almost worrisome, but it was her outlet and her way of, I guess, venting these feelings that she had.
I've been a bad, bad girl.
Every morning before school, we would hang out at the church parking lot right outside of school.
Everybody'd be over there smoking and, you know, riding the skateboards.
We'd all try and be little skater chicks, and she would, skate with all the guys and look like one of them.
The skateboard underneath her arm, with that punky attitude. Thinking her doesn't stink,
We weren't the jocks or the cheerleaders or the typical good kids. All of us went to hang out and be bad.
In high school, they had a rule that you had to be off the sidewalk before you could smoke any cigarettes.
There was a very fine line of where you could smoke and where you couldn't.
Right over on this side you can smoke, but then on the other side you can't.
So it should be like 1 foot on one side of the line, 1 foot on the other, and, oh, I have to move, I don't think so, and then slapped with a citation or something.
There was at least a half dozen times within a year or two there where she got in trouble and had to go to court for something.
Well, you know what? You could almost get arrested for anything in Doylestown. It was like the Gestapo.
I didn't approve of a lot of the friends that she had at that time.
We used to cut school and just go over to her house and just hang out in her garage.
Yeah, her mom wasn't too happy when she'd come home and find all these people in her house causing trouble out in the garage.
They were the good old days.
So we'd hit the garage door openers and garage doors would come up and all the smoke would come billowing out.
Philadelphia freedom.
Alicia was all about having fun. She just wanted to go out and have a good time.
There wasn't any place for the kids to go, so it's no surprise to me that she ended up going to Philadelphia.
She said she wanted to go to a teen club in the city. Her brother was going with her.
It was like a rave type deal. It was a lot of people doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
I was told that there was no alcohol, there were no drugs, and I believed it.
Well, we used to go out all the time, school nights and definitely on the weekends.
When she would come to Philly, it would seem like all of those things that really bothered her, that really upset her, she would put that behind.
She would go out to clubs, until 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and she wasn't going to listen to anybody telling her that she couldn't.
She would run away. We'd stay at a week at one friend's house and then a week somewhere else.
She would take all of her stuff, grab a sleeping bag and a pillow, and say, I don't care who finds me, I'm staying here, I'm not going back home, I can't take it anymore.
She would disappear. Her father and I would be searching for her.
Sometimes I found out where she was and went and got her. Sometimes I didn't.
It was a very frightening time. It's difficult being a single parent, and especially a female single parent, because there's no strong male presence standing behind you saying, listen to your mother.
She was way beyond herself. And I was just hoping to God that she got through it in one piece and didn't end up in a heap on a pile somewhere.
And eventually I just couldn't control it, and it was tearing us apart.
They were like oil and water, because they both wanted to be dominant.
It was essentially, if you can't follow the rules, then you're going to have to go live with your dad. That's what it came down to.
Judy finally, I guess, got to the point, and Alicia got to the point where they just didn't want to live together any longer.
She was hurting. When you act out like that, that's yourself crying out for something.
You could just see it in her eyes, and she would just always say, I just don't want to talk about it.
That was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I still regret having to make that decision. I wished that I could have held out till the end instead of forcing her hand, but I don't know where we would be today if we continued to butt heads the way we were.
15 is a really hard time to be a kid, I think, and then to have angst going on in your family life, and your mom living in one place and your dad living in another place, and you feeling torn. That's got to be tough.
Alicia was trying to figure out who she was and always wanted to be tough, never wanted to be hurt, you know. Just the way she sang was, you could tell she was releasing something because it was so powerful.
I first met Alicia at a party that I went to at her house. We were up like hanging out and upstairs, and she started singing this or that, and I was just like, wow. And we told her we had a band together, and told her to come down and try out for it.
Yeah, they heard her sing and they wanted her to sing in their band, and she did.
Alicia joined the band, and we were called Middle Ground.
About 6 months or so that they were together. She loved it. Anything she could do to like sing and be in front of people and any people to hear her sing.
Club Fever was in Philadelphia for a good hot minute.
It was an underground club, basically in a basement, mostly all black.
It was Thanksgiving '95, and we all went down to Fever, and that night she went into the little hip-hop room where the DJ was spinning and there was people rapping.
Scratch and some of those guys had an open mic.
She got up and grabbed the mic.
The next thing I know, she starts singing a song by Mary J. Blige. So I'm watching, and then the crowd is like, boo, boo, boo. And then the boos started to simmer down. And next thing I know, everybody's actually starting to bob their head.
They saw real quick that she was something to watch and something to listen to.
Oh, wait a minute, that girl can sing. That girl good, that girl good.
The DJ started letting her sing every weekend. One night there was this lady there and went, wow, who's this kid? She knew these two guys that had a girl group.
They were looking for a third person.
Our managers were like, yeah, guess what? We found this girl in Philly, and like, what's she like? Can she sing? And they're like, she can sing. That we don't have to worry about. As a matter of fact, she'll probably teach you a couple things.
3 white girls singing black R&B. That was the initial concept for the group choice. The first song that they created was called Key to My Heart, and it was selected to be on the Kazam soundtrack with Shaquille O'Neal.
She came around everybody with a tape recorder. Listen to my song, it's going to be on the radio.
I was walking the halls in my office in Atlanta and passed one of my assistants' office, and she was listening to a tape. And I said, so what are you listening to?
When I showed him the photograph of the 3 white girls, he said, who's this? And I said, you're listening to them on tape. And he was like, there's no way. That's a black R&B group. I said, no, it's not. That's Choice right there in your hand. And he was shocked.
This is on a Monday. I said, see if you can get them to Atlanta by Thursday.
So we flew out there, and I remember going up to his office, and it was pretty exciting.
So the 3 girls walk into my conference room and start to perform.
3 lines into one of the songs, that was the first song we did, 3 lines into it, they started clapping. Like they couldn't believe it. And they, after we were done, L.A. Reid was just like,
where do I sign?
Are you serious? We have a record deal?
She signed the record contract when she was 16. Wow, look what you did. You got a record deal, wow.
Our parents had to co-sign because we weren't even 18, and so it was a big deal.
I never seen her so excited.
She was finally seeing the path to stardom, seeing how she was going to finally get in there like she's always dreamed of.
After the contract was signed and she needed the time to work on the music, it didn't make much sense to force the issue for her to stay in school.
She wanted to be famous. She wanted to sing. and school didn't really get you there.
The day she left, they had a limo pick her up.
I was glad that she was leaving some of the influences that she had had in Doylestown.
It was like the beginning of this incredible new life, you know. It was like amazing.
There was no looking back. She didn't look back for a minute. After she moved to Atlanta, the record company set them up in a beautiful 3-bedroom split-level home in a residential area.
Well, we definitely had a lot of fun in that house.
They were friends. They were like sisters. They needed each other in that way.
They were working all the time. They were growing musically.
We were always together. We were always singing. Her passion was kind of contagious.
Alicia, she did the bulk of the work. She wanted it to be right. She wanted to stay there all night to get it right.
We come home and I just want to crash. You know, I'd go watch a movie or whatever, make dinner, and she'd be upstairs writing a song. She was always right there, just leading the way.
Every year, LaFace would host a Christmas party.
They decided to make Choice the entertainment.
And so they get up and they start to perform.
They did 3 songs, and they barely got through the 3, and it was awful.
The room is just dead silent, and everybody's like, okay, so what is this and what's on LA's mind?
I don't think it was my best performance, but one thing I did notice was Alicia definitely took the stage.
Alicia stood out, really stood out. And everybody had the same comment. Not sure about the group, but the girl is incredible.
That Christmas performance was a rude awakening for all of us. It wasn't about Choice anymore from that point, I think. It was all about Alicia Moore.
Afterwards, I had conversations with Alicia, and I said, you know what? I'm not sure about the group. I think you're incredible, and I really would love for you to take a stab at it as a solo.
So there's your choice. Either stay with the group or come solo with LaFace.
She had deep reservations about it because she felt very committed to the group. She was very loyal to them.
How do you go home and tell 2 people that they don't want you, they only want me?
She didn't want to have to make that decision. And it was not a decision that anyone could make for her. You know, it was one that she did have to come to by herself.
Choice pursued their dream as a group for the last 2.5 years.
I know it was probably the last thing in the world that I know Alicia wanted to have us go our separate ways.
There was a lot of soul searching. There was a lot of discussions back and forth.
There were so many nights where we would just stay up all night, sit at the dining room table and just cry.
She was sad. She did not want to feel like she was stabbing her girls in the back, so to speak.
All she kept saying was, you know, I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Ultimately, she decided that music was worth the sacrifice, and she moved forward.
I'll never forget when we just kind of looked at each other and said, okay, you know.
One day she called, she said, okay, I'm ready.
She kind of spread her wings when she went solo, and she just went all the way.
It's my new obsession.
One day she comes to the office and she says, I'm not Alicia, I'm Mr. Pink.
She had a couple guy friends up here in Philly, and they loved this movie, The Reservoir Dogs.
I was Mr. Blonde, my friend Mike was Mr. White, and she was Mr. Pink.
Why am I Mr. Pink?
Mr. Pink was this crazy, rambunctious character.
You wanna with me? I'll show you who you with. You wanna shoot me, you little piece of Go ahead, take a shot. You, White.
Who fitted her so perfectly, except for the genital area.
And then eventually she dropped the Mr. and became Pink.
She came to my house one day and she had this long black hair and she pulls it off and it's like this bright pink pixie cut. Oh God.
And I looked at her and I said, what the hell did you do to your hair?
I thought she was crazy. I did. Why can't you just be Alicia?
So I'm going to be Pink, my creation. That's what I am.
White girl with pink hair, it's definitely, she was making her statement.
I think the recording of Can't Take Me Home was a great experience for Pink.
She was just busting a rump down there, you know, recording and just trying to establish herself.
She was pretty green when she came in. She felt like she knew that she wanted to do it this way, but there were all these other people there with so much more experience.
She did things that she didn't want to do. She sang songs that she really didn't want to sing.
You're frightened to rock the boat. You don't want to lose this fantastic thing you have going for yourself. The first record was discovery.
Musically, I didn't think she was satisfied, but we did the best that we can do under the circumstances, and we ended up getting what we really needed, which was a couple of great songs that became hit singles.
There You Go was the first big hit.
That was Alicia, the Alicia that I knew.
She definitely was the white R&B singer.
I always called her a white black girl.
She'd say, I'm not white, I'm pink, because everyone's pink on the inside.
What you think about that?
She was just so wild, just like buck wild.
She wanted to really just kick the door open. She definitely did that. Everyone knew it was a new badass on the scene.
Now what you think about that?
We all went down to Orlando for her first live concert at the House of Blues.
You know, it was her first big show as Pink. It was a lot of love. I mean, right off the bat, the kids were just feeling her. Clapping for her. She rocked it.
She is working the crowd like they're in the palm of her hand. And they were eating it up with a spoon.
She was really excited about it and almost in awe that it could happen. You know, that people would listen to her sing and think she was good at what she did.
Thank you guys so much. It's my first show ever. Hope y'all like it.
I really saw her coming into her own as an artist. We did end up selling, you know, over 2 million albums.
She wanted me to be her date at the Billboard Music Awards because she got the Best New Female Artist. It was like the fruition of all of this had finally come, you know, full swing. I'm legitimate now.
The making of Lady Marmalade, I thought it was a really, really good thing for her. These are some really powerful girls. Christina Aguilera is an incredible singer. Little Kim has just a strong presence, and Maya is just beautiful. But Pink, in my opinion, really stood out.
She was very determined to make sure that she was heard, and heard loudly.
She emerged as a member of the Diva Squad.
You know what, I think Moulin Rouge took everybody that was involved to another level.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And the Grammy will go to Lady Marmalade.
And the video of the year goes to Lady Marmalade.
Hi, Mom. Thank you to everybody that thought we'd make good whores. Appreciate it. Thank you. We're taking the Moon Man home.
The press kept comparing her. It was Pink compared to Britney and Pink compared to Christina, and, you know, they pitted all of them against each other.
The media really does that, and they automatically want to start a war right there.
She hates being compared to people like Britney and Christina.
Pink was tired of hearing about it. Everywhere she went, people would say it.
She's never thought of herself as that kind of like bubbly pop princessy kind of girl, and I don't think she wants to be stereotyped as that.
She wanted to be the black sheep of that. She wanted to show and prove also that she wasn't a gimmick. This microwave singer, you pop it in today, you pop it out today.
She's not going to let a genre of music classify her.
The first album, you know, although it was good music and it did its thing and certainly established her, it was sort of like her personality shoved into the marketing strategy. And that's death, I think, for her.
Alicia. She doesn't care about the machine that drives pop music, and she never did.
She didn't want to do another album like Can't Take Me Home. She wanted to do something different.
She felt like she gave up a lot of power on the first album. She was determined to do it more her way on the second project.
She fought for it, and everyone thought she was crazy.
The album they wanted to do, the label, they wanted to liken it very much to the first one and keep that R&B kind of thing to it.
My concern was always that you're abandoning your fan base.
The first album did well. Why do you want to change things? Everything's going the way it should.
So there was a discussion. I wouldn't call it an argument, but there was a pretty good discussion.
She told me, I respect what you're saying, I respectfully disagree with what you're saying.
He went along with it, reluctantly, I think, and scared because it was a departure from success. And she was taking quite a risk, and so was the label.
I went in and told, Pink, I was like, you're not going to believe who I met. And she was like, who? And I said, Linda Perry, and she was like, get the out of here.
She always would sing Four Non-Blonde songs, talk about Linda Perry. She just was crazy about her.
I got this 10-minute message, really loud. I had to hold the phone all the way back here, from this girl named Pink that's screaming, singing my song in the phone.
Pink was just like, oh my God, I can't believe it's you.
I really want to work with you. I've been looking for you. I want you to write a song with me. I was like, okay, is this a joke?
The minute I heard that she was going to be working with Linda Perry, I just said she found her match. That's exactly what she wants.
I just went to the piano and I started playing this song. I said, describe your mood. Tell me what you're feeling right now.
I can remember the very first time I cried.
And she was like, just like that? And I'm like, yeah.
It was an effortless pairing. And I know that Pink was completely in heaven.
Working with Linda, that was like magic right there.
There was definitely something special happening because it was turning into an album.
We had our first single right out the gates.
Get the Party Started. I had written that song prior to meeting her, and I'm like, I think I wrote a hit, and it's so not me. I don't know what I'm going to do with this song, and as soon as she started singing it, I was just like, perfect.
It hit that worldwide tempo. It's a trendy, cool, alternative coming of the anti-pop star.
The thing about Misunderstood is that lyrically it's a brilliant record, and Pink, she wrote most, if not all, the lyrics on the record.
She wanted people to hear what she had to say.
LA told me,
you'll be a pop star. All you have to change is everything you are. And I absolutely did not say that to her. But she was poking fun at me. And I think she does prove a point here. You can be a pop star and have a brain and have some creativity and have some depth and have some feelings and not be afraid to bear those feelings.
Almost every other track besides Get the Party Started is a kind of a soulful exposure of her personality and the thoughts that are in her head.
It's her life. It's like her in song.
Once I fed the homeless, I'll never forget.
She came from the heart on Misunderstood. She let it all out. It was like blood, sweat, and tears on that album.
I remember listening to the CD and going, oh my God, has her mom heard this yet?
Mama was a lunatic.
Mama was a lunatic.
She liked to push my button.
We had some long conversations after that.
Mama, please. myself crying. I can't stand the sound.
Family Portrait, to listen to that was difficult.
It sounded like a very sad little girl.
It leaves you thinking, like, what really went on inside that house, you know?
It ain't easy growing up in World War III, never knowing what love could be.
I never realized until I listened to that song and listened to all the words just how much the divorce had affected her.
I actually feel that she was a lot happier after she did that song. It's like she got something off her chest, you know, something major.
It opened up dialogue for us, and I'm just grateful that we've had an opportunity to rebuild some of our bridges.
It was a very, very wonderful feeling when that album went platinum, the second album.
Anytime an artist puts that kind of love into their music, it's always successful.
She's no longer in a box. She's not the teen pop girl anymore. I believe that now she's paved the way to do anything musically.
She reintroduced herself. She's saying, hey, you thought I was like this? No, you were misunderstood.
This Alicia now is more of herself than she was when she first came out.
She's like, you know what, Eric? The only thing that's really changed is that now instead of making fun of the people we went to high school, junior high with, I'm just going to make fun of the celebrities.
She's never what people expect her to be, you know, or what society thinks she should be.
It's really reminiscent of things that you've seen Madonna do, that, you know, driving force of being controversial.
I don't think Alicia would have been satisfied with anything but where she is right now. That's where she was going from the moment she, you know, started singing.
She always spoke as if she already was a star. It never was, maybe I'll blow up. It was, when I blow up, I'm going to do it this way.
She's never doubted for a minute that she was going to succeed. She made this happen herself.
If it hadn't been for her drive as a songwriter and a singer, I don't know where she'd be. I think she'd be in jail.
Same attitude. She's never lost that attitude. And you know what? I think it's that tenacity that makes her as good as she is.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's Alicia. That's Pink.